The 200 billion people in the next 2,000 generations are the ones that survive, starting with this generation, are going to wonder if they were the lucky ones. They're my family. I don't have time to slander anyone. I don't have time to denigrate anyone, and I don't have time for political correctness. If we don't figure out how to diagnose what's going on here in a way that we can actually mobilize ourselves with the situation, we have the blood on our hands, we have the torture on our hands that Hitler never could have imagined. Never could have imagined doing what our ignorance and apathy and cluelessness is, and cowardice is doing. And to me, none of those words are slander. Any more than a doctor telling me I have cancer is slandering me. They can be disputed. I can dispute the diagnosis, but those are all properly descriptive words. The point that I wanted to make before I go into the science is that the messaging, the situation analysis, the political analysis in this whole area, I don't think that the people leading it on the left are actually paid shills of the fossil fuel industry, that if we win, will be parted from 20, 40, 60, 80 trillion dollars in fossil fuel reserves. I don't think they're paid shills. But if they were, the incompetence, the laying traps for themselves, the can't possibly succeed of the approach, the messaging, the framing is beyond comprehension, and I don't derive any joy in saying that. Here's my point. I've been falling into the trap until recently of talking about this issue in terms of a third to half the world's species being gone by the end of this century, the oceans being dead by the end of this century, half of the rivers and lakes in this country being dead by the end of the century. The fundamental problem that we have, brother, in this country, all of us, and studies bear this out, we have become less human every day for the last 30 years, every year for the last 30 years. The study I have in mind is a study that's done of college students every year to measure their empathy with the best tools available. And every year for the last 30 years, our empathy, our measured empathy of our young people has gone down. Wow, that's really shocking given the quality of the TV that we have and the iPods and everything that separates us. I'm being facetious. But we have become less capable of being connected, our nervous systems connected to the things that really matter. So my point is the fundamental problem that anyone concerned about the world's issues has is our hearts are on deathbed. And for the people reasonably concerned with what's happening to the environment, which will soon be irreversible, to be framing it in terms of that I just used is to doom ourselves to failure. We don't have enough hearts left to relate to the fact that a third to half the world's species are going to be gone by the end of the century. We should, but we don't. What we might have is enough heart left to care about the impoverishment of our children and grandchildren. So I'm talking about framing, and it's a trivial switch to make. So are you really going to sit by, friend, in the last months that we have to embark on a sane energy policy, knowing that your child's Earth is going to be so impoverished that half of the world's species might be gone by the end of this century? That a third of your children's life is likely to go toward trying to keep a third of the country's wealth, our sea level cities, from going underneath the 6-foot sea level rise that's already there. Are you really okay with the fact that your grandchild will never see a reef in the ocean? I don't know if I'm covering too much, friend, but my point is I just talked about the key ecological issues. but in terms of our children and our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren. And unless we can get people's hearts on fire, we have no hope here, and we don't have a prayer of getting the populace heart on fire because the seas are going to be dead. We should, but we don't. But maybe the impoverishment of their children.
An excellent point, and no, you speak to anything you want to. This is inspiring and fascinating and startling and disturbing, and I think it's a good message to get out.